If you're a man over 60 and your erections just aren't what they used to be, this may be the most important thing you hear all year, because there's a simple, natural food you can eat once a day. That may help restore the kind of sexual vitality you haven't felt in decades. It doesn't come from a pill bottle. It's not a supplement, and it's not some strange internet fad. It's a food backed by real neuroscience, and in my clinic, I've seen it help men rebuild their confidence, starting in as little as 2 weeks. I'm Dr. Mohit Kara, a professor of urology and a specialist in men's health with over 3 decades of experience. I've worked with thousands of older men, many of whom thought they'd never feel like themselves again. But when we target the root causes of performance decline, not just the symptoms, something incredible happens. The body begins to wake up again, erections return, desire improves, intimacy becomes possible, not awkward. And here's where it gets interesting. Because most people assume the key to strong erections lies in testosterone. But the truth is, there's another system quietly working behind the scenes. And if you don't support it, no amount of testosterone or medication will help. It's the vascular neural axis, a complex network between your brain, your blood vessels, and your nerve endings. And this one daily food targets all 3 at once. So in this video, I'll reveal exactly what that food is, how to use it, and why it works, according to cutting-edge brain science. Stay with me. You don't want to miss this. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. Hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss a tip that could help restore your manhood and bring your vitality back. And if this message speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. If it doesn't, type 0, so I know how to better support you moving forward. Let's begin with the truth. Most men over 60 are never told. Your performance issues aren't just about age. The real problem starts deep inside your body with a silent decline in 3 key systems. And if you don't address the first one, blood flow, nothing else will work. Let me explain. 1. Understand what's really happening to you. I've sat across from hundreds of men, good men, strong men, who looked me in the eye and asked, "Doc, what happened to me?" Their voice low, their confidence shaken. They weren't just talking about sex, they were talking about something deeper, the sense that something inside them had quietly slipped away. And the worst part? They couldn't point to when it started. No injury, no sudden illness, just a slow, creeping loss of energy, of desire, of performance. If that sounds familiar, let me tell you, you are not broken, you are not alone, and you are not beyond repair. What's really happening isn't about aging, at least not in the way most people think. It's biological, it's chemical, it's vascular. As you age, your body produces less nitric oxide, the very molecule responsible for relaxing blood vessels and allowing blood to flow freely to the penis. Without it, you can't achieve or maintain an erection, no matter how much desire you may feel. But it's not just the blood flow. Your brain also begins to slow down its production of dopamine, the chemical responsible for pleasure, motivation, and drive. And at the same time, oxidative stress builds up, quietly damaging your nerves and vessels like rust on a pipe. This triple threat, low nitric oxide, low dopamine, and high oxidative stress, forms the root of most age-related erectile decline. And unless all 3 are addressed, no pill, no pump, no supplement will bring you lasting results. That's the part most treatments miss. But there's hope, because once we understand the problem, we can finally do something about it. So what if I told you there's one simple, natural food that can help restore blood flow, support your brain, and protect your nerves all at the same time? Stay with me, because this next part might change everything. 2. The overlooked power of blueberries for male vitality. I'll be honest with you, when I first started practicing medicine, I never expected to be talking so passionately about blueberries in my men's health clinic. But over the years, as I watched patients struggle with pills that didn't deliver, with side effects that outweighed the benefits, I found myself looking deeper, not just at what was wrong, but at what was missing. And that's when I came across the research. Quiet, powerful, convincing. A growing body of science pointing to one small, unassuming fruit that seems to punch far above its weight when it comes to restoring male vitality. Blueberries aren't just good for your heart or your memory. They directly support the very systems responsible for strong, consistent erections. These little berries are loaded with flavonoids, particularly anthocyanins, which have been shown to boost nitric oxide production naturally. That means better blood flow, relaxed arteries, and more reliable performance without the crash or complications of medication. But the real magic? It's what they do in your brain. Blueberries help improve communication between brain cells, reduce inflammation, and enhance dopamine activity, bringing back not just function, but desire, that quiet, burning drive that so many men think is gone forever. I remember one of my patients, Carl, a retired firefighter in his late 60s. Tough guy, practical, didn't want any nonsense. He started eating blueberries daily because, in his words, it couldn't hurt. 2 weeks later, he called me and said, "Doc, I'm waking up with something I haven't seen in years." That's the moment he believed. That's when everything changed. Now, I'm not saying blueberries are a miracle cure, but when used the right way, they can lay the foundation for real, lasting improvement. And the best part? We're just getting started. Because next, I'll show you what modern neuroscience reveals about how blueberries literally rewire the aging male brain, and why this might be the breakthrough you've been waiting for. 3. The science is clear. When I talk to my older male patients about blueberries, some raise an eyebrow. I get it. How could something so ordinary make such a big difference? But that's exactly where the power lies. Because sometimes, nature hides its most effective medicine in the most familiar places. And the science backing this humble fruit is anything but small. A groundbreaking study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed over 25,000 men and found that those who consumed the highest amounts of flavonoids, especially from sources like blueberries, had a significantly lower risk of developing erectile dysfunction. This wasn't a fringe result. It was a statistically meaningful reduction in real-world performance issues. In another study, men who combined a flavonoid-rich diet with daily physical activity, just a simple walk, saw their erectile function improve dramatically. That combination of circulation support and neural activation seems to be the secret sauce. It's what allows these compounds to work their magic in the body. But we're not just talking about blood flow. Neuroscience studies are showing us something even more exciting. Blueberries actually improve brain function in older adults. In one 12-week trial, participants who consumed a daily blueberry powder experienced measurable gains in working memory, cognitive flexibility, and mental clarity. These aren't abstract benefits. These are things you can feel: sharper focus, quicker thinking, and yes, even renewed sexual interest. It's all connected. Because when your brain is firing, when your blood vessels are open and responsive, when your nerve signals are clear and confident, that's when you start to feel alive again, not just physically, but emotionally. That's when intimacy becomes something you want, not something you avoid. And just wait, because what happens when we combine this science with real-life stories from men who took the leap? The results might surprise you and inspire you to take the first step today. 4. A true story from my clinic. There's something about hearing it from another man that hits differently. Not from a doctor, not from a study, but from someone who's been where you are. One of my patients, his name's David, and with his permission, I share this story, came into my clinic at 71 years old. He was a proud man, a retired engineer, sharp mind, steady hands, a quiet strength about him. But that day, he looked down more than he looked at me. He finally said, "Doc, it's been over 2 years. I haven't touched my wife. I don't even try anymore. I feel like I've disappeared." He wasn't emotional in a dramatic way. It was more like defeat had settled into his bones. And I've seen that look before. The one where a man starts to believe this is just how it's going to be, that his best years are behind him. But I didn't offer him a prescription. I offered him something simpler. I asked him to eat 1 cup of blueberries every morning and to take a short walk each day after breakfast. He chuckled at first. "That's it?" he asked. I nodded. "That's it, for now. Give it 3 weeks." And he did. I'll never forget the email he sent. "Doc," he wrote, "I'm waking up hard again. It's not every morning, but it's real. And more than that, I'm thinking about her again. I want her. I haven't felt that in a long time. That to me is success. Not perfection, not miracles, just a man returning to himself, reclaiming something he thought was lost. But here's the part most people miss. David didn't just eat blueberries, he used them the right way. And that's what we're going to talk about next, because how you use this fruit makes all the difference. 5. How to use blueberries the right way. You'd be surprised how often a man does the right thing, but in the wrong way, and ends up feeling like nothing works. I've seen it with exercise, with supplements, even with blueberries. That's why I always remind my patients, the how matters just as much as the what. If you're going to use this food to restore your performance, you need to give your body the best chance to respond. Start simple. 1 cup of blueberries every day. Fresh or frozen, it doesn't matter. What matters is consistency. If you can find wild blueberries, even better, they have nearly double the antioxidants of regular ones. And if fresh isn't always available, don't worry. A good quality freeze-dried blueberry powder works too. Just mix 1 to 2 tablespoons into water, yogurt, or even oatmeal. Keep it clean. No sugar-laden cereals or syrupy smoothies. Sugar cancels out the vascular benefits. Think nourishment, not dessert. I tell my patients to eat their blueberries in the morning, ideally with a small handful of walnuts or almonds. The healthy fats help your body absorb the active compounds more effectively. Then take a short walk. Just 15 to 20 minutes. This combination, flavonoids, movement, circulation, is powerful. You're setting the tone for the day. You're activating nitric oxide, boosting dopamine, and giving your nervous system a reason to come back online. But remember, this isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing one thing consistently. That's what David did. That's what changed his life, not intensity, but daily intention. This small ritual tells your body, I'm still here, I still care, I'm still a man. And now, let's talk about what you can actually expect to feel after 30 days of doing this, because the changes go far beyond the bedroom, and they may just surprise you. 6. What happens after 30 days? Something incredible happens when a man sticks to one healthy habit, not 5, not 10, just 1. I've watched it unfold countless times in my clinic. A man walks in feeling defeated, skeptical, even a little ashamed, but then he comes back a month later, and there's a spark in his eye. His posture is different. He's standing taller, speaking with more clarity, laughing more freely. And I already know before he says a word, something has shifted. When you eat blueberries daily for 30 days, it's not just about erections. Yes, many men begin noticing stronger morning wood. Yes, arousal starts returning in quiet, natural ways. But that's only the beginning. What really stands out is how their entire body begins to respond. Blood pressure stabilizes, focus sharpens, fatigue fades. That mental fog that so many men chalk up to getting older, it starts to lift. They feel lighter, clearer, more connected to themselves, and often more present with their partner. One man told me he hadn't read a full book in 5 years. After 30 days on his new morning routine, he finished 2. Another said he started waking up without dread for the first time in a decade. These aren't random feel-good stories. They're real biochemical shifts. Better nitric oxide means better circulation. More dopamine means better mood and desire. Less inflammation means stronger nerve signals and clearer thinking. And here's the most beautiful part. None of this requires being perfect. You don't have to change your whole life overnight. Just give your body one signal, again and again. That's the power of consistency. It compounds. But what if you've tried everything before and nothing's worked? What if you're afraid to hope again? I understand that feeling deeply. And that's exactly why the next part is so important. Because you need to know this isn't just a trick, it's a foundation. And without it, even the strongest treatments can fall flat. Let me explain. 7. Why this is the foundation, not a temporary fix. I've seen so many men chase quick fixes, pills, powders, injections, hoping for instant results. And when they don't work, or when they stop working, the disappointment cuts deep. I understand that desperation. I've watched men walk into my office with their shoulders slumped, feeling like they've tried everything and failed. But the truth is, most of those approaches are aimed at the symptom, not the source. And that's where everything changes. See, your body isn't just a machine you can jumpstart when it's convenient. It's a living, breathing system that responds to rhythm, not random effort. Blueberries work because they support the foundation, the very systems your erections depend on: blood flow, brain chemistry, and nerve function. They don't force an artificial response. They nourish the body's ability to respond naturally. When men ask me, why should I bother with fruit when I can just take a pill? My answer is simple. Because pills without a foundation are like building a house on sand. They might hold up for a little while, but they won't last. And deep down, most men aren't just looking for one good night. They're looking to feel like themselves again. They want consistency, confidence, control. That only comes from rebuilding what time and stress have worn down. The beauty of this is that it's never too late. I've had men in their 70s and 80s see remarkable changes, not because they did something extreme, but because they committed to one small, consistent habit that their body could trust. That's the difference between managing a problem and healing it. And now that you understand the why behind this powerful fruit, it's time we pull everything together. Because in the end, this isn't just about blueberries, it's about you, your life, your legacy, and what kind of man you still have time to become. Let's talk about that. Conclusion. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this, it's that your body hasn't given up on you, even if it's been quiet for a while, even if you felt numb, tired, or invisible. The truth is, there's still a spark in you, and sometimes all it needs is the right signal to come back to life. We talked about what's really going on, how aging affects your nitric oxide, your dopamine, your nerves. We looked at the science behind blueberries and how they support blood flow, brain chemistry, and nerve repair, all in one small, natural package. I shared the story of David, who thought his best days were behind him, until he started eating blueberries every day and began to wake up, physically and emotionally. I walked you through exactly how to use them, how to make the habit stick, and what to expect after 30 days, not just in the bedroom, but in how you think, feel, and show up in your life. And we explored why this isn't a trick or trend, but a foundation, a way to give your body back what it's quietly been asking for. I've dedicated my life to helping men reclaim their strength, their connection, and their sense of self. And I can tell you, with absolute certainty, it's never too late to start again. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to do everything at once. You just need to begin with 1 cup of blueberries once a day and a willingness to believe that change is still possible. Because it is. I've seen it. I've lived it with my patients. And now, maybe it's your turn. This is more than a food. It's a daily reminder that you are still alive, still capable, and still very much a man. The choice is yours. If this video gave you hope or taught you something valuable, please take a moment to like, share, and leave a comment below. I read every one. Your voice helps this message reach more men who need it. And if you'd like to support the channel so we can keep creating honest, science-based content, consider making a small donation. Every bit makes a difference.